This is my modded Arcade1up cabinet. It's a Street Fighter Yoga Flame cabinet, but it's running Batocera Linux. It's running a small computer with Linux on it. Just functionally, what I did was I added an on-off switch here, so if I turn that off, the entire cabinet loses power. Used to be a headphone jack here, so I drilled that out and put a button here, so that's the hotkey button. And the volume switch controls the volume to the cabinet within Batocera Linux. Got a USB port in the front, just for convenience. But I'll show you how it's set up in the back here. So it's really simple. So the LED display goes to, so I have this board that I got from Amazon. I looked up the model number of the LCD, and this board came up, takes audio and video input through HDMI from the Linux box, and the output goes to the LCD panel and to the speakers that are built in, but I've wired that through a small amp. And that wire basically goes to the amp, and then it goes to the built-in speakers inside the cabinet. There's the Linux box. And the buttons plug into the USB hub. So the buttons in the front of the cabinet, they come with two USB controllers, and those USB controllers just plug into my computer. For the power button, I have something called a relay. But this is a really simple relay. Essentially, the way this works is if this thing gets constant current through this wire, it turns these two outlets on. And this is a power strip that has all the stuff, like the amplifier, the Linux machine, and the LED lights in the marquee, and so on. So essentially, if I stop giving current here, the whole cabinet loses power. This outlet, it's always on, so it never loses power. And here I just have a 12-volt DC adapter, and this goes to the button in the front of the cabinet, and when the button is closed, current will flow through here and the cabinet will be on. When the button switch is open, the cabinet will be off. Low voltage, so it's fairly safe, so very straightforward. So as you can see, if I go and I hit this button here, everything is off, and my power strip is off. And there's a cap here that's still this is going to come off shortly. That's basically it. So now if I go back and turn it back on, all the lights come on because the computer got power, so the LED lights here are on, the LED lights in the marquee are on, and the computer is booting because there's a setting in the BIOS to automatically power on after a power failure. So once this computer regains power, it will automatically power on. It's a pretty common BIOS setting. And this machine is an Intel NUC. It's pretty old. It's from 2014, I believe. And it's able to run legacy games just fine. The only other thing here is the volume switch. So I wired that. The volume switch actually has 3 pins. If you look in the back of it, it has 3 pins. One's common, and then depending on if you go left or right, either the left pin or the right pin will have continuity. So that's actually wired as two separate buttons in the USB controller that came with these buttons. So I had to do some splicing there. But that's basically it. Very, very straightforward, very simple. To drill out the holes, so for this button I didn't need to drill out the hole. I think it's a 19mm button. And I just popped out the old switch. It looked just like that. And I put that button in, it looks okay. It's not the right shape, but it looks okay. And then for this button, it was an opening just like this, but I had to drill a larger hole. And I did that using, primarily using this type of drill bit, this step bit. It's called a step bit, I believe. And then I also have these circular saw bits that help get through thicker parts of the cabinet. And that's basically it. I think the only downside is I'd rather not shut the power off to the entire, I'd rather keep the power on to the computer and just have it suspend, but unfortunately when it suspends, it continues to give power to the buttons through the USB port, so it's possible to configure Linux to disable those devices on suspend and then re-enable them on resume, but I found that to be too risky. And so I didn't really want to do it. Plus it would still drain some power even suspended, so if it's not being used for long periods of time, it's a bit wasteful. So I decided to just kill power to the whole cabinet with this switch. That's pretty much it.